Hey everyone, how ya doing? It is me, Tim. Could be reading an old-fashioned Thanksgiving written by Louisa May Alcott. Please enjoy. Many years ago, up among the New Hampshire hills, Farmer Bassett lived with his wife in a house full of sturdy sons and daughters. They were poor in money, but rich in land and love. Their old farmhouse was a very happy home. Now November had come and the crops were in. In the fireplace, a cheerful fire roared. A syrupy smell were in the air. Down among the red embers, saucepans simmered, suggestive of appealing fest. A baby laid in the cradle. Two small boys sat shelling corn for popping and sorting hazelnuts, and four young girls stood at the long table busily chopping meat, pondering spice, and slicing apples. Farmer Bassett and Affy, the oldest boy, was doing chores outside, for Thanksgiving was at hand and all must be in order for that time-honored day. To and fro from table to help bustled Mrs. Bassett, all flushed and flurry. Telly, the eldest daughter, said, "I think it's real fun to have Thanksgiving at home, but I'm sorry that Grandma is sick, and we can't go there as usual." Here is a man coming up the hill, lovely. Guess it's Gabe Hopkins. Pop told him to bring a dozen oranges if they weren't too high, shouted Saul and Zeph, running to the door. But all were disappointed, for it was not Gad with that much desired fruit. It was a stranger who hurried up to Mrs. Bassett with some brief message that made the farmer drop his axe. The man told old Mr. Chadwick told him to tell Mrs. Bassett her mother was failing fast and she better come today. The children helped their mother get ready, and by the time she sled was at the door, Mrs. Bassett was waiting with the baby done up in blankets. "Now, Effie, you must keep up the fire, for there's a storm brewing," said Mr. Bassett. "Telly, put extra comfortables on the beds," said Mrs. Bassett. "Pa will come back tomorrow night. Keep snug and be good." "Yes'm, goodbye," called the children as Mrs. Bassett was driven away, leaving a stream of directions behind her. Effie put on his biggest boots and surveyed his responsibilities. Telly began to order about the younger girls. They soon forgot Granny and found it great fun to keep house all along. The few flakes soon increased to a regular snowstorm. For up among the hills, winter came early and lingered long, but Tilly got them a good dinner, and Effa kept up a glorious fire. When the clock struck 9, Tilly tucked up the children, and having kissed them all around as Mother did, she crept into her own nest. When they woke, it was still snowing. After a brisk scrub, the little Bassets went downstairs with cheeks glowing like apples. Now, about dinner, began Telly. Ma didn't expect us to have a real Thanksgiving dinner, interrupted Prue. Doubtful. I can roast a turkey and make pudding as well as anybody. I guess, cried Telly. Pa is coming tonight, so we won't have dinner till late. That will give us plenty of time. Did you ever roast a turkey? Asked Roxy with entrance. Should you try? Said Rhodey in a all-stuck tone. You will see what I can do. All you have to do is let me work, commanded Telly. So Telly attacked the plum pudding. She had seen her mother do it many times, but she forgot both sugar and salt, and she tied the preparation so tightly in the cloth that it had no room to smell. Happily, on conclusion of these mistakes, Tilly popped it into a pot of boiling water. I can't remember the flavoring, Tilly said as she soaked her bread for the stuffing. Seems to me it's sweet margourmet or summersuri. So let's put in both. The best herbs are in the attic. You get some, Prue, commanded Telly, diving into the mess. Prue set aside her apron, chopping and trotting up to the dark attic, but with a nose that smelled only onions, she got catnip and wormwood instead. Eager to be of use, she pounded up the herbs and scattered them into a large bowl. It doesn't smell just right, but I will suppose it will when it is cooked, said Tilly as she filled the empty turkey. Then she set it by till its hour came. It took a long time to get the vegetables ready, for the girls thought they would have every sort. Effie helped, and by noon all was ready for cooking. Now you all go out and sled while Prue and I set the table, said Tilly, bent on having her dinner look good. Out came the rough sleds, and away trudged the four younger Bassets to assume themselves in the snow. Effie played his fiddle in the parlor while the girls set the table. The cloths were chorus with white as snow. They had no napkins and little silver, but the best tankard and Ma's few wedding spoons were forth and set. The place of honor was left in the meadow for the oranges yet to come. Doesn't it look beautiful, said Prue. I wish Ma could see it, began Tilly, when a loud howling sent both girls flying to the window. In the twilight, they saw four small figures tearing up the road to come bustling in, all screaming at once. The bear! The bear! Epic got the gun. Down in the hollow, sledding, we heard a growl, began Sol. I saw him first, looking over the hill, roared Zeph. Awful big and shaggy, quivered Roxy. Rhodey piped out. I was so scared my legs would hardly go. We ran as fast as we could, and he came growling after us. He's awful hungry, said Sol. Effa, don't let him eat us, cried both little girls, flying upstairs to hide under their mother's bed. No danger of that. I'll shoot him as soon as he comes, Effie said as she raised the window. Don't miss, cried Zeph, following Sol, who had climbed to the top of the cupboard. Prue stationed herself by the hearth, but Telly boundly stood at the open window. Get the axe, Telly, and if I miss, keep him off while I load it again, said Effie. Telly flew for the axe, and it was at her brother's side by the time the bear was near. Fire, Effie, cried Telly firmly. Wait till he rears again. I'll get a better shot, answered the boy. Suddenly, Tilly threw down the axe, flung open the door, and ran straight into the arms of the bear, who stood up straight to receive her. The growling changed to a loud yaw, yaw. It's Gab Hopkins trying to fool us, cried Effie. Gab? How could he scare us so? Laughed Tilly. Gab drew a dozen oranges from some deep pocket and fired them into the window with such good aim that Effie ducked. Pure screamed, and Sol and Zeph came down much quicker than they went up. Well, I was upset my sleigh, and the horse left me, so I tied on my buffalo skins and walked up till I saw the children sledding. I just meant to give them a little scare, but when they ran, I kept up the joke. roared Gag. Yine again. Come in and have dinner with us, said Tilly. Pa will be along soon, I reckon. I can't. My folks will think I'm dead if I don't get along home, said Gag, taking a kiss from Tilly's rosy cheek. His cheek tangled with the smart slap she gave him as she ran away. Shakes alive, the turkey is burnt on one side, scolded Tilly. Well, I couldn't think of dinner when I expected to be eaten alive, said Prune, who had tumbled into the cradle when the rain of oranges began. Tilly laughed and all the rest joined in. The older girls dished up dinner and were struggling to get the pudding out of the cloth when Roxy called out, "Here's Paul." There's folks with him, added Roddy. Lots of them. I see 2 big sleighs, cloaked full, shouted Zeph. It looks like a funeral. Guess Grandma's dead and came up to bury her here, said Zoe sullenly. If that's a funeral, the mourners are uncommonly jolly, said Effie, as merry voices broke the white silence without. I see Aunt Cynthia and cousin Hattie, and there's Moses and Almas, cried Peru. Oh, I'm so glad I got dinner, cried Tilly. Isn't Grandma dead at all? Asked So, as in powdered father, mother, baby, aunt, and cousins. Bless your heart, no, answered Ma. It was all a mistake. Mother was sitting up as chipper as you please, dreadful. Sorry you didn't all come. So to give you a taste of fun, your pa fetched us all up and spent the evening, said Aunt Cynthia. What in the world set you to getting up such a supper, said Mr. Bassett, looking around him. Tilly Mottery began to tell, but the others broke in and snugged her phrase in a sort of chorus in which bears, pies, and oranges were oddly mixed. Tilly and Prue served dinner. Sure, everything was perfect, but when big cousin Moses took the first taste of the stuffing, he nearly choked. Tilly Bassett demanded Ma, for all of the rest were laughing. Whatever made you put wormwood and catnip in your stuffing, I did it, said Bruley, nobbling, taking all the blame, which caused Pa to kiss her on the spot and declared that it didn't do a bit of harm for the turkey after all. Well, I've never seen onions cooked better, said Aunt Cynthia. The dinner is a credit to you, my dear. The pudding was utter failure. It was speedily whisked out of the sight, and all fell upon the pies, which was perfect. Blind Man's Bluff and others' lively games soon sent everyone bumbling over with merriment. And when Effie stuck up his fiddle, old and young fell in their places for a dance. Apple and cider and singing finished the evening, and after a grand kissing all around, the guests drove off in the clear moonlight, which came just in time to cheer their long drive. When the jingle of the last bell had died away, Mr. Bassett said soberly as they stood together on the hearth, "Children, we have special cause to be thankful that the sorrow we expected was changed into joy. So we'll read a chapter before we go to bed and give thanks where thanks are due." When Telly set out the light stand with the big Bible on it and a candle on each side, and all sat quietly in the fireplace smiling as they listened with happy hearts to the old words that fit all times and seasons so beautiful. When the good nights were over and the children in bed, Prue put her arms around Tilly, for she was sure she was crying. "Don't mind about old stuffing and pudding, Pure," whispered tenderly. "Ma said we really did do superb and well for such young girls." Tilly broke into laughter, and Prue could not help joining her even before she knew the cause of the merriment. "I'm laughing to think how God fooled Effie, or Gab fooled Effie. I thought Moses and Amos would have died over it when I told them. It was so funny," explained Tilly. "When she got her breath, I was so scared that when the first orange hit me, I thought it was a bullet and scrabbled to the cradle as fast as I could," laughed Prue as Tilly gave a growl. A smart rap on the wood of the next room caused a sudden loom in the fun, said Mrs. Bassett's voice was heard saying, "Girls, go to sleep, or you'll wake the baby." "Yes'm," answered two meek voices, and after a few giggles, silence regimed, broke only by occasional snores from the boys or the soft scurry of mice in the battery taking their parts in the old-fashioned Thanksgiving. Well, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed the old-fashioned Thanksgiving. And y'all take care and have a good one. And thanks for watching.